Okay, everyone, Jake here. Welcome to another FIFA Ultimate Team Talk video. Today we're going to talk about FIFA being boring. Now, a few people have talked to me, a few friends, and also loads of content creators have also said that it's got good gameplay, but it's boring. I agree. I think the FIFA gameplay is good if you're a decent player, if you can find the balance between being able to create chances and hold possession, then you will be fine. There's still the counter-attacking meta as well, but sometimes if you're a good defender, you should be able to stop counter-attacks, because even if they're running through, you should be able to know how to track their runs, etc., and use the third man press to good use. But in my opinion, gameplay isn't perfect because counter-attacking is still a really big way that I lose games, and it's even a way that I've started winning games now. Because I used to be all about possession, and now I'm more about just counter-attacking and just playing how I enjoy. I enjoy counter-attacking, but when I have the ball. So, like, there could be periods in the game where I have the ball, but I can't create chances. Second half, I just start counter-attacking, and I win the game easily. It's just, I don't know. That's, yeah. But I'm definitely better in the second half. But I don't know how to create chances from holding the ball. Yeah, that's still something that's very difficult. You wait for runs, but then the thing is, there's not really a good skill move to beat a man one-on-one who has players next to him as well that are also defenders who can easily stop you. But we're going to talk about, not my gameplay, but why this FIFA is boring. So, it's not boring in terms of gameplay. Sometimes it can be, yes, especially when you're playing a possession hoarder. But most of the time, this game isn't actually too bad. But the content, it's really, really lacking. And it's been like this for the past 2 years now, where content from EA gone downhill. Despite the fact that more FIFA points are being bought than ever, content is going downhill. Which I think is really sly from EA, and I think that this is disgraceful. Because this year the market is so dead that what's the point in playing the game for packs and opening your rewards when you won't get anything out of your rewards worth more than 30, 40k? And what can you do with that 30, 40k? Yeah, you can buy a half decent player. You might be able to do a segment of an SBC. I need 40k to finish an SBC. Will I pack someone worth 40k? No. Even if I pack an 88 rated piece of fodder, that's like 10k. So, there's not really much you can do in this game to make a lot of coins. But that being said, you can, and the best way to get players this year is pack luck. But for some people like myself, that pack luck is just something that I don't have. So pack luck's something I haven't had since FIFA 20, and FIFA 20. All I'm going to say is that year was nuts for pack luck. I packed like Team the Messi. I packed loads of sick tradable players. FIFA 19 as well was pretty decent for pack luck, but FIFA 20 was the main year for my pack luck. I think I packed so many good cheap. No, not even cheap. I packed like Son for 400k, Shapeshifter Mendy 600k. And I was just packing decent players like that every now and then. But why is FIFA boring, and how can EA improve it? Well, FIFA's boring because there's nothing to do. There's no point enjoying gameplay when there's no reason to do the gameplay. Right now, I don't play champs. So basically, each week I get to my 7 wins in division rivals, and then I'm done with the game for the week. Because what's the point in playing champs when it's so difficult to qualify? I've already got the points for it. I've had the points for ages. I can qualify this week. I could try this week, but my team isn't ready yet. I want to have Fofana in. I want to be rid of Rebic and stuff before I try qualify for the weekend league. But that's going to take a few weeks before I even get to that point. So, still going to be a bit of a while yet. But yeah, right now, all I have to do is win 7 games of Rivals a week, and I have pretty decent rewards. And through those 7 wins, as long as I win more games than I lose, and if I get a couple games in a win streak, I should have really big progression. So if you won 4 games in a row, lost 3, and then won 3 in a row, you would go up, I think, almost 2 ranks, I think. Something like crazy like that. To almost 2 ranks for, winning 7, losing 3. Last FIFA, that would have been a couple hundred MMR, and that would have been it. And you wouldn't have even got close to a new rank, and it would have been a lot more difficult as well. But, yeah, there's no point playing the game, which is why it's boring. Because there's no League SBCs, because, normally there's some value to packs when there's a League SBC out, because you're like, oh yeah, I packed another Crystal Palace player that I needed with loyalty. Oh, I've packed a load of Celtic players for this Celtic SBC. But then again, last year they got nerfed. Why? Because there were no players there anymore. And I think EA need to bring back the players in League SBCs, because those players were always pretty decent, no matter the rating. There was like a Battaglia in FIFA 20 who hyperlinked to my Akuma, and I love that Acuna. I love Acuna. He's one of my favourite FIFA players of all time. I've had him for the last 2-3 years as an overpowered card. He's been awesome. I had his showdown last year. He is 98 rated last year, who I desperately wanted because of how much I love Acuna. I also had his Shapeshifter and Futmas in FIFA 20. Not to mention I've had his gold card this year, and I've used it as well. It wasn't amazing because it was his gold card, but it's still a pretty good CDM, because that's why I started playing him in a free back. But what do EA need to do? Well, EA need to bring in milestones. They don't need to bring in these shitty 86 rated, 85 rated players. They need to bring in 88 rated players in milestones. Now, that Politano, if he was in milestones, yeah, like, I guess that's a pretty decent card, but EA would probably make it super difficult. But I think EA need to bring back the milestones, but they need to make them, instead of being, oh yeah, score a load of goals with a random Portuguese league team, just make it like, oh yeah, play 20 games of rivals, scoring a goal with a Portuguese player in it. And then at the end of it, you get yourself an 86 rated Renato Sanchez, who is upgradable when EA flip a switch at Team of the Year or something, that gets upgraded depending on, I don't know, what his team do. Let's say his team win 10 games out of 20 in a season, and let's say they did that twice in all competitions. That would be an 88 rated Renato Sanchez. Something crazy like that. Make the upgrades difficult to get, the cards overpowered, and the cards a long grind to get, but achievable for every player. That's what EA need to do. They need to. I used to love it when the EA used to bring out a squad battles objective and a rivals objective, because even in FIFA 20, the Foot Scream Mesut Ozil, that card was one of my favourite cards, and it inspired me to get his Foot birthday last year and the year before as well. And then that gives me to another thing. It's the same players in promos, and because the market is so dead, there's literally like 4 or 5 really expensive players in each promo that you can't get. Instead of there being a load of 50k players, a couple of 30k players, a couple of 20k players, and then loads of 100 to 200 to a million coin players, like there have been in the past with players like Scream Aguero, Scream Kane, Scream Lukaku last year. They also had cheap players like 82 rated Icapara's Foot Screen card. That was an awesome card. But I honestly think, right, they just need to do what they did last year in terms of the cards, but make them higher rated, make them more worthy to pack. Because right now, if you packed Road to the Final Winston Manava, who I have packed, it's like, oh yeah, you can now save yourself 25k on that Politano, but the card isn't usable. So if you don't want Politano, you've got an 82 rated piece of fodder that you have nothing to do with, and he's not even going to get upgraded. Chances are he won't, unless Atletico and AC absolutely get battered by Porto. But will that happen? Definitely not. So another way that EA could improve this game is obviously bringing back very good objectives, because the objectives this year have been dirt poor. The SBCs have been good. Like, we've had some really good value SBCs that I've been tempted to do most of them, but dirt poor objectives. That's like, if for the players who don't have good pack luck, for the players who don't play this game absolutely loads and sweat out rivals every day, for the players that don't get good rewards, and for the players that don't have amazing teams, objective players could be a way to massively upgrade their teams. Even me, if EA decided, and I hope they don't bring out another Scream Ozil, but if they brought out a Scream Ozil, I would shove him into any team, especially if they gave him, 3-star weak foot, and they gave him like 80 stamina. They gave him very nice finishing, very, very good pace as well. If they did that and they made it like either the live foot friendlies thing, like, yeah, it's good, but sometimes it can just be annoying because you'd have to play 20 games of live foot friendlies for Ozil. And I know that might take you ages, but you see people grinding for that 83 Andre, or you see people grinding for, not Cruz, but like, you've seen people grinding for these low tier cards that aren't really that good. When the thing is, if EA released a really good player into these modes, and they made them attainable through these modes, a lot more players would go for them. It would make the grind a lot more fun, because people would start working together in life at friendlies. You know, you could have a guy pausing the game at thingy, and he could say, oh yeah, I've got all my wins, I'll give you the win, and you can do any objectives you want, I just need to score with these players. And that was always a fun way to do objectives, especially back in the day in Division Rivals, when objectives were in Rivals in FIFA 20. And you had people in icon swaps going, hey man, I need one more win, when they actually needed 4, and they were given a win. People were giving out wins in Division Rivals with their main team to help people with icon swaps. And then EA decided to stop golden goal rule. EA don't want us to get these objectives quick, but the objective cards aren't worth spending hours on. Where, however, if they brought out, let's say, a road to knockout Ousmane Dembele, kept him out for a week, made it so you had to win 20 live foot friendlies games and you had to score with a Barcelona, with an Ousmane Dembele card in each of them. What, Ousmane's going to go to 70k, but you just buy Ousmane for 70k, or you use Clement Lenglet, or something like that, as a French Barcelona player. And it might make the market a bit dodgy, but it could help rise the price of players again. Ousmane's a 50k card at least. He's down at 25k. I think that's ridiculous. I bought him for 30, so if he went back up to 50, I'd be a bit happy. Make a cheeky little bit of profit. But, you know, I'm just going to go back now. I'm just going to recap everything I've just said. So basically, the game is boring because there's not much decent content to grind for with the good gameplay. So what do EA need to do? Obviously, they need to make the counterattacks less prolific. They need to make defenders a little bit worse, so when you hold possession and find the passes, you can actually mug off a player instead of having to use Ousmane Dembele's meta self to just glitch the game. That's one thing they can do. That's not necessary, but they can do it if they want to make the game a bit better. Another thing they need to do is they need to add milestones, and they need to make them attainable within 10 hours. They can't have 20-hour milestone cards that take you 2-3 weeks to get, and you're playing for it all day, every day, and you just still can't get it, because that's going to make people frustrated. And then if that card is an absolutely 10 out of 10 god tier, they're going to be annoyed that they've wasted their time on the game, and they will probably just go, yeah, I'll see you back in tots or something. And that, again, could lose FIFA points. But they need to make milestones attainable within 10 hours. They need to make them decent, and they need to put them in Rivals as well. So if you had, play 10 Rivals games with at least 2 French players in your team, win 10 Rivals games with at least 2 French players. You get your 7 weekly wins, and then you play another 3 to try to win another 3 to get the milestone done. And then that's a big part of the milestones done, and then they could be play 20 games with a Barcelona player that is French in your team or something as well. So you've got to kind of mix and match your teams and stuff, and it could make people use different players, and it could also help inflate the market a bit more. So milestones is another great thing. League SBCs with decent players. This is the third one. This is a really important one because it then starts making packs valuable. It starts making grinding bronze pack method, silver pack method really, really viable. And it can give you a good player at the end that you will enjoy for quite a few months. So if they made them 86, 87 rated, like imagine an 87 rated Acuna centre mid card in the La Liga SBC. I would do that. I would literally save packs for weeks, open them all, use the players in the League SBC, sell everything else, then do that card just to get Acuna. Do a 300k SBC for 200k worth of packs on Acuna. Very, very good. I think that's really fair, and I think that's something that EA need to try bring back is overpowered players in League SBCs, because once we had Griezmann and Luis Suarez for La Liga, then the next year we had like an 84, an 85, and then a 90 rated Tots when Tots was about. And it was like, oh, and then we had untradeable packs, and it was like, well, now we don't even have a single player. We complained wanting better players, and you gave us packs. We don't want packs. We want guaranteed player rewards. And yeah, SBCs, they need to be more and they need to make worse players that you wouldn't normally think of using viable. So, for example, Titi, he wasn't very viable. They give him a decent flashback, and now people have him. So it just changes team variation, can inflate prices on the market with SBCs, which I think is another thing that needs doing. Other than that, what else is there? Oh yeah, objectives. They need to release good objectives. So they can't be releasing 83, 84 rated shit players. They need to be releasing overpowered 86 rated players. Make them decent. Make them like a week. Make them 20 games to get. But make them worth your time. Make them worth the hours people are going to spend on them. Because if that card is shit and people spend 20 hours on it and it's got a bloody 42 stamina, they're not going to be very happy. And they're probably not going to use that card anymore, and it'll make them upset because they wasted the time. And also, another thing, EA need to revamp the promos. They need to make promo players more expensive to inflate the market a bit more and make packs worth it again. And other than that, if this screen promo is shit, I'm going to start saving packs for Team of the Year now. I'm just going to do random milestones, random objectives, and I'm literally just going to spend my time in rivals and squad battles to get packs just for Team of the Year. So maybe I have an odd chance of packing either a 10k 90 rated player or a Team of the Year Ronaldo in a pack. But I think that's what I had to say. Basically, EA need to revamp promos, Team of the Weeks, milestones, objectives. They need to revamp SBCs. They need to revamp a bit of gameplay mechanics as well. They need to revamp these modes. There's a lot that EA need to do that isn't gameplay to make this game better. But a good start would be making this screen promo excellent. A really decent SBC player. Start bringing in milestones and advanced league SBCs with players in them. Those would be the first two, and make them screen themed as well, just for a bit of fun for the promo, and then make you pick and stuff. So decent SBCs, decent objectives, decent milestones. Bring back the player SBCs and milestones. Make the promo full of really decent high rated players. Do some stuff to inflate the market. Do some stuff involving packs, so people have packs to grind for instead of these 2k little Day of the Dead Halloween SBC kit set where you get a 5k pack and a shitty kit. But yeah, that's all I had to say. Basically just ranting on how EA need to make this game better. So I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you all have some of your own inputs, and if you do, go tell me them down below in the comments section. Drop a like, subscribe, maybe share this video with an EA employee. I've gone over and rambled on for long enough. So go check out my Twitch streams, which should be live sometime in the future. Not today, I'm busy today, but I'll see you guys next time. Enjoy, peace.